It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio with us today. We're talking with Art Gonzalez with the Kaibab National Forest. He's their fire staff officer. Welcome to studio.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. We had Vic Morphin in for kind of a recap of spring, summer. We had Pete Gordon from Prescott National Forest in. We got Art here today talking to us about how things went on the Kaibab National Forest for spring and summer. Yes. So maybe we should just start right there. How things go?
You know, given your past couple guests, I would say we were right on par with the Southwest. Things on the Kaibab National Forest were not too far out of the norm, but given the slow activity across the Southwest, definitely turned out to be a slower season for us. You know, May, June, July, typically a busy time of year for us, and rather quiet this year around the Southwest as a whole. And, you know, the rich history of managing fires on the Kaibab National Forest was right on par this year, starting in July, August, September. So,
were you surprised by it?
I would say yes, given the winter that we had. Rather dry October, November, it's typical. December we actually got some snow. January we had some rain that melted all that snow. And February is where they think the surprise really started.
Right.
We had record temperatures in February and March, like we were talking earlier, t-shirt weather above the rim in February and March. Not very typical. So when we started getting the rain, yeah, it was actually pretty surprising that, you know, coming off a winter like that it would be so slow. But it was just the right timing for that moisture to really mitigate and reduce the potential for an active fire season.
And the good news, I think, this year is, too, that we've got this El Nino moving in. Well, yes. it's building, it's here, so hopefully that'll give us winter, so maybe we'll have an easy year next year, too. That'd be nice.
That could be surprising, a little out of the norm on what winters used to look like.
Right.
And we could sure use that. We could actually use a few years in a row like that. Get some of that moisture replenished back into the live fuel moistures, into the ground, and get things saturated. We haven't had that in a few years. So
we did have some wildfires in the Kaibab this year, right?
Yes. So we had 94 as of Monday. We had 94 fires, and over the last couple of days, we've still been picking up more lightning fires.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
okay.
94 fires as of Monday. Only 9 of those human-caused fires. The rest lightning-caused fires. And as I've mentioned earlier, since 2003, we've had a good history of managing some of those natural ignitions for other than a suppression objective, so a resource benefit objective. And we were able to continue that trend this year. We've managed a total of 5 different fires for about 21,000 acres. So
now, do we know how human-caused the fires?
Primarily abandoned campfires.
Oh,
yes.
That's a real dirty word in the Forest Service, isn't it?
Gosh, I wish we can get past that, but yes, we continue to have that issue. We're on a downward trend on the Kaibab. We've done real well, but it's a continued problem. Yeah, and then that's something that we work on every year and try to work with the public. How are we going to get past that? I don't know if we'll ever get to zero, but we sure would like to see that.
We
would
really
like
close
to shoot
to zero.
That. Yeah. Matter of fact, one of our district, the Tucson Ranger District, got a lot of national attention last year. They had 0 human-caused fires in 2014.
I remember that. That's right. That was a big deal.
First time in 50 years, and things keep up. They're on pace to do that 2 years in a row. 0 human causes thus far on the Tucson District. Yeah.
We're here to jinx that, aren't we?
Gosh, I hope not. I sure hope not.
Like it, huh?
It's a nice trend. Since 2001, we've been trending downward from an average of 50 human-caused fires a year. This year at 9. And last year, probably right around 12, I believe. So we'd like to continue that trend and then bring that down more.
Are you guys doing something different than, say, the Coconino National Forest? Just because they had over 400. I'm talking abandoned campfires. You told me before the show that you guys had 48?
Yeah, 48
48 abandoned campfires, okay, that you guys spotted and doused. But Coconino National Forest, Vic Morphin was telling us they had over 400, twice as many as they normally do, which is pretty dangerous. So is there something maybe you guys have going on that's different?
You know, I would think the big difference between Kaibab and Coconino is we serve a different type of public. They get many more users out of the interstate corridors of I-17 and Highway what's that, 87 over there.
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of folks that use I-40 and 67, 64 up to the Grand Canyon National Park. But I would say, you know, I would think there's three main reasons that collectively we've had this downward trend and we've been doing well. One is the combined effort of all of our public information, public affairs office between all four forests up in this northern part of Arizona. They help us get that word out. We're getting that out to the public. We're trying to educate folks, and here's the consequences of these types of abandoned fires. You know, we've seen that. We've seen human-caused fires that have created some issues here in northern Arizona. A second part of that is we actually have folks out in the field all day long. You know, their focus, their job every day is to go out, talk with the public, educate about the current conditions, how to properly extinguish a fire. And the third part of that is the fuels work that we've done. We've done a lot of mechanical treatment. We've used a lot of prescribed fire. We've used a lot of wildfire in a lot of these high-use areas on the Kaibab National Forest. So although we don't like those abandoned campfires, some of those, should they get out, are in areas that we've treated. And so we've reduced the potential for fire spread on there around those areas. So collectively, between those three things, that we, like I say, we serve probably a different type of public than the Coconino National Forest. I believe those are why our numbers are much lower than some of the other forests around.
Yeah, the Coconino kind of lends itself to I'm coming up, spread off and branch off, and you're in the forest automatically right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Management fires, though, although you guys didn't have a whole lot of wildfires, management fire, wildfire, you know, you did have lightning sparks up there. The one that we were talking about prior to the show was the Springs fire. That one continued to burn for quite some time this year. Where was that one at?
Yeah, so the Springs fire started, I believe, July 2nd, and that was about 9 miles southeast of Williams, Arizona, and that burned over about 9 weeks. And that ended up being 7,100 acres. So that duration, we love seeing that duration. You know, we get a whole variety of effects from that. You know, some days it burns 4 or 5 acres under wet conditions, and then several days it burns under 300 or 400 acres under drier conditions. We get this mosaic of burn patterns. We get this diversity of fire effects, all of which is good for all of our resources, wildlife, flora, fauna, all the other types of things we're trying to do out there. So that fire, Williams Ranger District, we also had the Rock and the Jar Complex on the Tucson Ranger District. One was about 4,300, the other about 2,500 acres. Same deal, lightning caused, end of June, first part of July. Those fires burned about 3 or 4 weeks. North Kaibab had the Locust Fire. That was the earliest fire, June 15th. Typically in June, we're thinking pretty much suppression mode. But given the conditions this year, moist conditions, green grass, June 15th, it was right place, right time, right location, so we decided to manage that further than a suppression objective. Got about 3,200 acres out of that one. And then several weeks later, pretty much in the same vicinity, another lightning start, we had the Burnt Complex that burned about, I believe that was about 4,000 acres. So collectively, we had 5 significant fires on the Kaibab that burned about 21,000 acres.
Mother Nature did a good job.
Fantastic job.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a rich history on the Kaibab, so we're averaging about 13,000 acres. 2015 was our third highest, 21,000 acres. Last year we burned about 28,000 acres, where we managed those for resource benefit. 2009 was 34,000 acres. So since 2003, we've managed about 137,000 acres of wildfire for resource benefit.
Good quality cleanup of the forest floor. We have to take our first break already. Kaibab National Forest Fire Staff Officer Art Gonzalez in the studio today. Stick around, county-wide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
A redhead. Staring contest. got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking with Art Gonzalez with the Kaibab National Forest, kind of find out how things went there for spring and summer. We're going to look at fall and winter and next year ahead as well. But before we do that, since the summer was kind of a quiet season for us, which is very unusual, California and Washington, they all had major fires. Alaska had some major fires this year too.
Yes.
Were we sending people out to go help?
Yeah. Like you mentioned, it was rather quiet here. So July, when we got that stronger pulse of monsoonal moisture, we got our folks out. We had folks Alaska, Idaho, Washington, California, Oregon, you name it. We had folks out. We pretty much sent all available resources out. And the fantastic part is not just our fire management resources. We had other resource specialists, wildlife biologists, archaeologists. Those folks all went out and contributed to the greater good of this national response.
Oh.
So as an interagency community, we got up to national preparedness level 5, which is the highest we go. And pretty much at that point, it's all hands on deck, and that was nice to see. Got a lot of our non-fire folks out and really contributing to the fire management and response across all the agencies. So I think just recently we got our last folks back on forest, and most of those folks spend a lot of time out and helping out other places.
You got kind of a number of people? How many people?
That we sent out?
Yeah.
Rough
estimate?
My rough estimate would say probably 85, 90 folks that we had out. At different times, different locations, different durations.
Did you travel away from state?
I did not. I went over to southern Utah in late June. I typically help with all of our fires here locally, do some fire behavior modeling, working with agency administrators. So I was pretty much committed through August on some of these fires that we had going here. Went over and helped the BLM in the Color Country area, helped those folks manage a couple of their fires up there. But I stood back and kind of took care of the home front, and we got a lot of folks out.
Well, I guess this was our year to go out and help other states instead of having the other states come flooding in here to help us out. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. We've definitely seen our needs here in the Southwest, where you see, it's the opposite. You see engines from Idaho, Washington, Montana, every agency, every fire department here waiting to help us out. So we turn around and we go there and help them in their time of needs as well.
Give a hand back. Okay. Since we're on the topic of fire, which obviously we be with the forest, prescribed fire season's coming up. I know Coconino National Forest and Prescott National Forest both mentioned that October and November tend to be their fall prescribed burn season, and then in the winter months when the snow's on the ground, we see those great big slash piles go up. But we have that going on as well. Yeah,
we've tried to take a different approach on the Kaibab National Forest. So last October, October, November is our peak burning season. We're still relatively dry. We still have a decent ventilation where the smoke will get up and lift. As we get into those later months where we do piles, that smoke just doesn't really lift. So we're trying a different approach where we really focus our efforts. And last October, we brought in resources from all around the Southwest accelerate those prescribed fire programs. So we did about 15,000 acres in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
And so we're hoping that lines up again for this coming October. We've got a lot of projects on the board, a lot of projects prepped and ready to go. We'll be bringing in non-local folks to help support implementation of those projects. So we're just like the Cognino Prescott. October, we're looking to get a majority of our burning done. Given the conditions this year, we'll see how that goes. It may be pushed off into a spring or early summer prescribed fire season next year.
Does that mean when you kind of start the prescriber, and what you do is you kind of go in there and you help push it and fan it and get it going, and let's get this done as quick as we can?
Yeah. So our prescribed fire approach is a little different than wildfire management. In wildfire, we tend to let the fire do what it wants to do across the landscape. It perform its natural role. Prescribed fire, we have a little different objective. We still want fire on the landscape, but what we're dealing with is different prescriptive criteria. We have some environmental conditions that we like to burn within those parameters to try to get the effects that what we're looking for, reduce the dense stands without killing all the trees. But one of the things that really plays into how we manage these prescribed fire, we'll do 3,000 or 4,000 acres in 2 or 3 days, which may not happen on a wildfire. But a big part of that is for smoke management. We want to burn that stuff, and we want to get that smoke up and out and clear. As I mentioned before, the ventilation is not as strong as it is in the summer months. So, you've probably seen in certain valleys, you drive through and somebody's burning a wood stove, and you just see this layer of smoke that kind of hangs over the valley. That's poor ventilation. And so we deal with that the later we go into fall. So we want to get these things done quicker and get that smoke up and out. We can't do 4 or 5 weeks like a wildfire, a prescribed fire. We would just smoke out all these communities.
Gotcha.
So it's a different approach. We're in there a little quicker, a little more aggressive, get fire on there, get the effects we're looking for, and then let that smoke clear out.
Get it done.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch a little quick here. We had a Fry project, the Forest Restoration Initiative, announced that they were getting ready to start one of the projects on the Kaibab. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so they're going to be starting the Pomeroy project up there in the Kaibab, and that's a mechanical treatment, so removing the overstock stands and getting those fuels out of there so that we can follow with prescribed fire and kind of restore that landscape. So it's about a 1,600 acre project that they're working on now south of I-40 around the Schultz Lake area. Okay. So one of many coming at us. Hopefully to get that whole Fry restoration initiative, get that going, get us on track, follow with prescribed fire, and just create that the more resilient landscape.
The prescribed burning, just stepping back, that's going to be a lot around the Williams area.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Pretty much across all 3 districts, we've got to focus in the urban interface area. So there's going to be some prescribed fire south of Williams. We're going to have some around parks. On Tucson, we'll do much more around the Tucson village. And then in North Kaibab, we still have a lot to do around Jacob Lake. So a big part of that is focused on that urban interface area.
How many acres makes up the Kaibab National Forest?
1.6 million acres.
Oh, it's just a small piece of a small tract of land, huh?
We've treated since 2000, we've treated about 300,000 acres with fire. So we're making an impact on a landscape scale, but we've got a long way to go.
Definitely, though. Wow, that's quite a bit of work. Okay, let's take our second break. Kaibab National Forest Fire Staff Officer Art Gonzalez in studio today. Phone number for the Kaibab National Forest, 928-635-8200. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it. While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed all that. Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
That's the one. I will not be news today. I will not make another push to be the first man in space with frosted tips and a puka shell necklace. And I will not go viral when my terror is caught on camera when I finally realize that in the vacuum of space, no one can hear you sing. I'm Lance Bass, and I will not be trending today because there is a much bigger story that needs to be heard.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left in the program. Art Gonzalez with the Kaibab National Forest in studio today. And I wanted to ask you at least a couple more questions. One was, are there any projects you see on the Kaibab National Forest that are like top priority for you?
Yeah, certainly. So Fort Fry being one of those. The second, I would say, is the Bill Williams Mountain Restoration Project there in Williams. Bill Williams Mountain is an important watershed for the town of Williams, and it also has several TNE species up there as well. So it would be nice to get that treated. Final stages of the environmental analysis, hoping for implementation to begin here pretty quick. It's just one of those areas, we've done a lot of work, but it's one of those areas that are still at high risk from wildfire. Dense stands, rugged terrain, steep slopes, not a lot of opportunity to go in there and just take care of it all in one shot. It's going to be piecing together something. So we're hoping to really get that going.
Tough spot to work on, huh?
Very tough, and so close to the community that anything we do out there is going to have impacts. So we do prescribed fire, we do mechanical harvest, all those different types. We're going to have some kind of impact. So how do we do that? How do we get that going, reduce the impacts down below, but look for the longer benefits of not losing that watershed or not losing that mountain to one single fire.
You said TNE up on the mountain. What's that?
Threatened and endangered species. So we got different types of plants, right. and wildlife up there. That
you said that. I thought, TNE, I should know what that is. I should know what that is. Okay, threatened and endangered. I know what it is now. Anything going on in the Kaibab right now that we all need to come and see?
Oh yeah, we're getting ready to switch over to fall colors.
Right.
North Kaibab definitely making a big change. We got pockets on the south side, so yeah, beautiful fall colors coming at us, and it's a daily process. You go today and it's going to look different tomorrow, and it goes quick, so don't miss it.
It does go fast.
Yes,
it does go really fast,
and it's horrible when you can't put the leaves back on. So when folks miss it by a day or two, it's just gone until next year.
Yeah. The pictures on your website. There's one of the North Kaibab Ranger District, and it's just this road with these beautiful oranges and reds and yellows all around it. So yeah, the fall colors are definitely here. Coconino National Forest put a little something out yesterday about fall colors. I'm sure Kaibab does too. You said the front desk folks are getting kind of inundated each day with calls about where's the best place to go, and I guess that's the best way to do it. Really, is to give you guys a call and find out where the hot spots are.
Yeah, the front desk at each of the ranger districts, they keep in touch with the employees that are going out in the field, and they keep track of these. And so when folks call, they can offer places to go, where the colors are changing the most. So yeah, it'd be good to give them a call at their front desk.
All right. Yeah, fall season has arrived. Okay, I think we're good. Art, great. Thanks for coming in. I'll have you back next spring.
Appreciate you having me.
We'll do an update on how things went over the winter and kind of what preparations are for the summer. All right.
Sounds good.
That's Art Gonzalez, Fire Staff Officer for the Kaibab National Forest. I'm Paul David. That's today's Countywide, and we'll talk to you again next time. I'm going to run into the town So for a while when I was doing, well, for quite a while throughout the summer, and then it got to the point where rain back off a little bit. But it was like, okay, Coconino National Forest, Preston National Forest, I'm just going to...
And I go to Boise quite often every year to do presentations at conferences up there.
Okay. Good, good.
We always have something to talk about.
Because I try to keep it in the forefront of everyone's head. This year was, my big thing was I'm really just, I feel like sometimes